Morning, everyone. Let's see, we'll just get the PowerPoint going here. I'm going to talk about cognitive support technologies and really the here and now. What is many of the sessions that you often hear at a conference like this really tells you the future, and it's a great place to come to the future. And more so than ever, sessions are describing what's here now as well. So you get the combination. You get to know what's coming, but also what is available and what is out there right now. So if you can launch the PowerPoint, that'd be great. There we go. Okay, thank you. All right, and then the focus this morning, what I'm going to be talking about, let me go back to this one here, right here. These are technologies specifically for folks with intellectual disabilities and other cognitive disabilities that are designed for use by the individuals themselves, not necessarily others, caregivers, etc. But these are technologies for the individuals themselves. There's a lot of great remote monitoring technologies that you'll see in the exhibit hall over there, and may hear in some of the other sessions. These are a little different. We're talking today about devices on an iPad or other technologies that are specifically for the individuals. I want to start out with a sound bite from Carl here, and you can see this is from an early research project. You can tell that by the monitor he's sitting in front of, which is a little on the older side. Very short, but this is the kind of thing we like to hear. So go ahead and click on that to play Carl here. Let's see if you can do this, Carl.
Excellent. Keep going.
I got it! This is something
All right, that's it. So he's starting us off, and the opportunities for folks with cognitive disabilities to use technology are all over the place now. There are so many technologies that can be put in place and put in the hands of individuals to get through their day, et cetera, and I'm going to show you some of those. This is what got me into the field. My brother, John Roger Davies, there in the blue shirt, or I guess the dark blue shirt. There's a couple of blue shirts there. I'm on the far left, so this picture's a bit dated, but my brother Dave and Dale are also here pictured. All right, so I started work in this area back in really in 1991, and then started ABLINK Technologies in 1997. And the focus of ABLINK is to do research and development of cognitive technologies, but also deliver them, to take them out of the laboratory and put them in the hands of individuals to actually make changes in their lives. All right. Well, the problem, and you've heard much about this. This is why the declaration exists. One of the reasons the declaration exists. The problem is there's many barriers to technology use for folks with cognitive disabilities. They are, due to the fact that the keyboard use can be difficult for folks without literacy skills. They can be due to the fact that just learning how to use a mouse to move around a computer, double clicking, some of the things that are very common interface mechanisms are very difficult and challenging for folks with cognitive disabilities to do independently, things like drag and drop, et cetera. And even when the text is up on the screen, what does that mean? If you don't have the literacy skills to be able to read and comprehend that information, that is a barrier as well. So there's lots of barriers to technology use, and it really starts at the operating system with technology. One solution, this is more the solution that we can deal with today, is to get around some of these barriers by designing interfaces that are designed specifically for folks with cognitive disabilities to use based upon their needs, that comes out of research, et cetera. Another solution, which is also in the works, is more of a longer-term solution, is things like the NPII work that Greg Vanderheiden's doing at the University of Wisconsin, and funded by NIDR and other organizations. And that's an effort to change the technology, the mainstream technology itself, so that the mainstream developers, Googles, the Microsofts of the big players, basically get on board with the whole idea of making technology accessible for people with cognitive disabilities, and building in the access features necessary for those individuals right at the at the base of the system. We're not there yet, and that's why specialized technologies which are available today can be used until those other efforts are completed. There are many organizations that are increasingly using these types of technologies around the country. Some of you are here representing these organizations, and these are some of the ones that we've worked with that are implementing this cognitive support technology to change lives for the folks that they serve. I'm going to talk about two different types of cognitive technologies. The first type is accessing everyday technologies using cognitive support technology. So these are, and these include, not only desktop, notebook type computer environments, but mobile environments as well. These are basically alternate interfaces for doing the things that everybody does with technology. Keeps track of a personal schedule, figures out what you have to do to get through your day, reminder systems, etc. So this is a screen pictured from an iPad application, Endeavor 3, which is designed for folks with cognitive disabilities. And lots of features can be turned on and off with cognitive support technologies. So if it's too complex for an individual, then you focus on their particular needs, and remove things from the screens, etc., that are difficult for them to utilize. The second type I'll talk a bit about are specialized technologies. These are technologies that are not necessarily accessing everyday technologies, but it's a way to use technology to augment an individual's cognitive ability. If you think about that in a broader sense, wearing glasses is a way to augment your visual ability, and together with glasses and your vision that you have, you can do more than you could without the glasses. Well, that's this type of cognitive support technology. It's augmenting an individual's existing cognitive ability with a technology to allow them to do more than they could without the technology. All right. I'm going to go ahead and launch a short video to illustrate one of those types of technologies. This is an iPad application called Visual Impact for step-by-step prompting. With a technology like this, tasks can be created for all kinds of activities that an individual needs support with, whether it be cooking or cleaning tasks or a whole variety of other things. And those tasks can be from an iPad, for example, itself. The task is created, uploaded to the cloud, downloaded to another iPad, within an organization, etc. That's kind of sharing content from one to another. Lots of different options that you can do with that. And these then run on that individual's own device to provide training instructions, either personalized or more generalized in some cases. Such as fire safety instructions. This is the screen I showed a little bit earlier, Endeavor 3. This is an accessible scheduling tool where on the iPad, schedules can be created with pictures and audio and text as well that provide reminders to help an individual get through their day with a more simplified application. These can be remotely managed, so from the cloud you can add a doctor's appointment to someone's schedule without even touching their iPad, and it just syncs up with the iPad. Events can also be created right on the device, and you have the ability to do the same things you do with other everyday technologies for scheduling, is to be able to create how often you want that event fired. Is it every day? Is it once a week at this time, etc. Lots of different options that way. This is some of the screenshots from the cloud-based management application where you can add events for an individual remotely and then have it synced up, as I mentioned. Another area is testing and surveying. Technologies exist for folks to be able, in organizations that are serving people with intellectual disabilities or other cognitive disabilities who are doing consumer satisfaction surveys and the like, to gather information in a much more self-directed and independent manner, rather than having a caregiver be the interviewer and ask all the questions themselves. The surveys and the questions can be presented with pictures and audio, a very simplified format for individuals, and it kind of walks them through that data collection activity. So it's a way to express yourself when traditional written surveys may be difficult to use for individuals. The data, again, is stored as the person completes the survey, and it's shipped via the cloud to a website that can be accessed by the organization in real time. So that right away they kind of get a sense for the responses of individuals that are being surveyed about their satisfaction. One of the organizations we're working with right now is the Council on Quality and Leadership, and they've got a new survey tool called the Post, which is part of their services that they're offering. And with this application, individuals, again, are using it to be asked about how are things going with your life with respect to various topics. Here's one with regards to making decisions. So when this screen comes up, the item is read to the individual. They can tap on any of the responses. The responses are read to the individual. And they can choose, how they feel about that. And then in this particular survey, initially they're asked, how is it going? And then they're asked, well, how important is this topic to you? So at the end of the survey process, there's a way to generate a report for the individual, and then also the folks that are family, etc., that provides a summary of are they attaining this goal, and how important is that, and is this an area that is a priority area to improve, etc. So that's a Council on Quality and Leadership, and they are going to be making that iPad survey application something that is available to the agencies that work with CQL after the first of the year. Here's another YouTube video I want to show that goes into a little bit more detail about another use of this type of technology at Westchester Institute for Human Development. So I'll go ahead and launch this one. We're just about to the end. I'll finish up with, I mentioned the barriers often for technology is that the operating system for desktop computers or notebook computers, there's also technologies that are available to simplify access that can, present, a desktop to an individual in a much more graphical way that, meets their needs and interests. And they can send and receive email without knowing how to read and write, for example, or have just simplified interfaces for typing in with keyboard if individuals can use the keyboard. So personalization is a big part of making technology accessible to people with cognitive disabilities, and there's lots of different technologies that are available now for that type of thing. And if you're interested in seeing any of these, in particular ones that I showed you today, you can try it out on the iPad, etc., across the hall in the ABLINK Technologies exhibit booth there. And I'm going to stop here and just open it up for questions for the last couple of minutes we have. We have about 3-4 minutes before I need to get out of the way for the next person. So, thank you. Any questions? Yeah. Thank you. Basically, you know, we work with the organization to take your survey and pour it into this Atlas system, basically, to create the survey. So it's kind of a cooperative process. At this point, that's where it's at, but that's not ultimately where it will be. But that's how the surveys that are done right now with organizations, yes. Other questions? Yes.
Do the applications that are in existence today, oh, thank you. Do the applications that you guys have created work on both Windows operating systems and Apple?
The final one I'm showing you here is this Endeavor Desktop is for Windows and Macintosh operating systems. There are other applications for mobile devices, and they have their own operating systems, Apple and Android, etc. So there's a mix. I'll say it's kind of a constantly changing world for technology developers. So you develop something once, and then the operating system changes, and you have to develop it again. And the good thing is you get better at it as time goes on. You can stay around long enough. There was other questions.
Here.
Yeah.
On your scheduling application, you use that with the cloud and the person has access. They get to know their schedule. Does that show up on the cloud base so that the agency understands they're where they're supposed to be, where they want to be, doing what they want to do?
For when you say where they want to be, or
like if they were scheduled to go to church and they chose their church and they went in and clicked that, would that then demonstrate to someone who was more independent, we'll say, that had happened, that had taken place?
Okay, that it's been accomplished. Yeah. There's notifications that are sent out to say that yes, this individual responded to the the notice that said it's time to take your medications or time to take the bus, and the task instructions like the peanut butter and jelly type thing. There's also notifications that can be sent out to individual cell phones or email or whatever to indicate that somebody completed their medication regimen or whatever, or went to church or whatever. So yes. Maybe one more question? Yeah.
What would happen on that application if, say, somebody took the wrong bus?
Took the wrong bus? Yeah, okay. The Wayfinder application is, you kind of create routes with it, and there is a capability for external individuals, like a family member or whatever, to actually follow along where the individual is. So you would get, you'll be able to pull up Google Map links that say, oh, okay, they're not in the right place, that kind of thing. So, I think we are at the end. So if you have any other specific questions, you can come up and ask me or go to the exhibit hall that I need to clear out for the next folks. So thank you very much for your attention today.